Today I've been checking out Forgive Me Father 2, which is out now on Steam for $20.99. Forgive Me 2 is, well, it's a boomer shooter. You know the type, loads of enemies, loads of guns, imagine your Dooms and Quakes, and you won't be too far off. This one comes with like a graphic Lovecraftian novel style in its presentation and enemy designs. There's not a lot to say about gameplay. Start the level, kill everything in sight, find some secrets, find some keys, pull some levers, and get to the end of the level. There's not a lot in between, and unfortunately this one doesn't add anything new to the boomer shooter formula, which is a shame. There is a small story running through which is told via notes, but as you would expect, it's nothing too deep. Finally, there's a little hub area where you can visit between missions. You can even visit during missions as well, where you can buy skills and reskins of your weapons and make them behave and look slightly different. If you like your boomer shooters, I think you'll find everything here you know and love. As it's a boomer shooter, let's talk about guns and combat. There's the usual array of shotguns, pistols, melee, rifles, and more to find and collect throughout the game world. But what is slightly different is you can collect tokens where you can upgrade your core weapon. So instead of your pistol being a 6-shooter, it's now a semi-automatic pistol. Your rifle is now a minigun. Your knife is now a hatchet. The only slight issue is you can't test your weapon upgrades, so if you pick the wrong one, you can waste your tokens and have to return back to the hub area to change it. I think maybe a test firing range would have really worked here. But the gunplay is a lot of fun. It's not super fast like the new Doom style combat, it's a bit slower. Ammo and health is limited, so it's a bit more controlled in its experience. What I did love though is when it shoves you into the arena to battle like loads of enemies at once like a lot of these games do, there's usually some sort of corridor or passage to hide down or some sort of elevated point to get a different angle rather than being stuck in the middle running around in circles. So I thought that added a bit more to them arena battles. One thing I will say about the combat is the difficulty's kind of weird. Enemies hit like a truck and they've made healing quite rare. Death is going to happen quite a lot, and there's very little feedback to say when you're about to die, which is a little bit annoying. Like, it would be nice if the screen changed color or some blood drops or just anything. It's just like, oh, okay, I'm dead again. You do have skills to help you. However, I would say they're being implemented a bit weird. I don't know why they've done this, but you have 18 active skills and 22 passive skills, and you think, yay, that's really good. However, you can only activate 3 at a time. It just means you don't really get to play around or enjoy new skills because you're just going to keep to the build that works for you. And really confusingly, they have active passive skills. That just makes no sense. Passive skills should just be active all the time. It limits the fun a little, but I guess it's why they make the ammo and health a bit restricted too. It's to slow that gameplay down. Moving on to level design, I think the levels flow generally pretty well, and on the whole are nicely designed. Like, each environment looks different and you'll go to lots of different environments. There's also not a lot of backtracking, which I really like, and there's a good amount of cover in each section. However, enemies can see and shoot you through cover, which I found a little bit annoying. The other bit of level design I didn't like is they implemented the really overused system of just finding keys and pulling levers to progress, which comes a little bit boring after a while. And I know a boomer shooter is all about shooting and killing things, but it's always been the part of boomer shooters to just bore me a little bit. However, I will say during the levels, the signpost and the little visual hints of where to go are generally very well done. Moving on to graphics, it obviously has that comic Lovecraftian style, and I think it looks rather nice. Animations look good, they're crisp, guns are nice, and some of the skins are really inventive. Enemy design is varied, and the elements around the level look really, really good. It also ran great. I didn't see any slowdown, even when there was lots going on. Sound design is pretty decent, you know, the guns and everything sound great. However, I didn't really enjoy the voiceover, which the guy does. It's almost like the darkness in its narration, but it just didn't land for me, which is a bit of a shame. So in conclusion, it's the average boomer shooter. It does nothing new outside the visuals, which to be fair do look good. I think it has some issues, especially with the skill system. It's just not very well implemented. I also think there should be a bit more health and ammo about, or give you glory type kills to earn them and smooth that difficulty. However, if you're a boomer shooter fan, I think this will probably be a good one to add to your collection even with those issues. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of boomer shooters, and they do tend to lose my interest. I just wish this one had maybe brought something a little bit new to the table, but I still think it's worth adding to your wishlist and maybe checking out. Right guys, that's all I've got to say on this one. Catch us all later. Goodbye.